Small. What does it mean? Ask a dictionary and you'll get a size that is less than normal or usual. Or worse, insignificant, unimportant. Here's what we think at Absa. Small means community, your neighbor. It means that cup of coffee that you buy from the cafe on your way to work. The suit in the shop window that you promise you'll get one day. It's the family restaurant that you run into to grab lunch or dinner. The haircut you get together with free advice. It's Marilo's Bakery. Because when you look at the big picture, small is huge. And it's why we back small businesses. Play your part and shop local every hashtag Absa Small Biz Friday. And be the me in SME. Let's grow Mzansi kaofela. Visit absa.co.za to find out how hashtag Absa Small Biz Friday benefits us all. We do more so small businesses can thrive. That's Africanacity.
Good morning, everyone. On behalf of myself, Leanne Rhodes, and Mike Anderson on screen with me today, the NSBC Founder and CEO, we'd like to welcome you to today's webinar, The Power of Small Business and the Road to Success. So Mike, tell us, how are you today and what can our viewers expect from today's session?
Well, yet another exciting event, and as we both know, we're both very passionate about what we're going to talk about this morning. And just to inform that our third guest speaker, Kgalaletso, unfortunately, is a senior executive. He is the head of enterprise development and relationship bank in Absa. He's not with us this morning, but it's not going to deter. He'll be back with us in the next 2 weeks, which we'll keep you informed on. But we're going to keep the program going. We've got some exciting developments that have come through over the past few days, and we've got a big announcement coming up that's all happening next week. So we're certainly not going to disappoint you, or at least I hope we're not. Stay with us and share the morning. Tell us where you're from. Tell us your expectations and, of course, how you're faring this year. And are you looking forward to winding up your business at the end of the year? Not winding it down, but winding up and getting ready for 2023. But still, we've got a long way to go. Until then, a lot of business has to take place. But guys, thank you for joining us. Tell us where you're from. And it's always nice to engage. And Olivia, thanks for that nice message, and you're welcome. We look forward to engaging with you.
Absolutely. So, Mike, we said we're talking about this power of small business and the road to success today. Mike, what is it about small businesses that make it such a powerful force?
You know, if you look at it, some time back, Leanne, I was invited by the European Union to talk around the power of small business. And globally now, small business is the mainstay of every economy. It's the future of job creation in every economy. It's the mainstay of our future. It's where our economic prosperity is going to lie. It's where jobs are coming from. It's all geared towards the small business sector. And that's the exciting aspect. 10, 15 years ago, there was very little attention towards the SME sector. But now the power of small business is big business, which is one of my trademarks. It's a vibrant community. It's not easy out there for small businesses to thrive, as you know. And while we're talking about that to all our attendees, tell us your pain points. Tell us where we can assist you at the National Small Business Chamber or NSBC, if you like. So, Leanne, in a nutshell, it all leads to small business. The nation has got to stand behind it. That is meaningful nation building.
Absolutely, Mike. And I know that we run a campaign called Absa Small Business Friday, which is linked to the power of small business and how the nation can get behind small business. Mike, would you tell us a little bit more about this campaign?
Yeah, absolutely. Absa Small Biz Friday is in tandem with, of course, the power of small business. And like we know, now it's 12 years in its making. This year, Absa, we're truly grateful for Absa's big input this year. Without their input and the passion behind the initiative, we couldn't have achieved the results that we have. And so Small Business Friday been going a long time. Really, it's really the biggest movement of its kind that mobilizes the nation to go big by supporting the small. Because if you and I can support our local small businesses, these small businesses will build infrastructure, employ more from the local communities, hence meaningful nation building. So in essence, Small Biz Friday, powered by Absa, is a 365-day movement that elevates every Friday and peaks on Small Business Friday, which, Leanne, as you know, is always the first Friday of spring every year. And like no other year, it was an amazing spring, this one we had this year, and on the first Friday of spring. And I think what's important about it, it's a meaningful difference. We know in the messages that we get, the emails that we get from thousands of business owners around the country are really grateful for us and what we do to really make sure every consumer out there, and largely the success of Small Business Friday powered by Absa, is dependent on the small business community, but more importantly, dependent on the consumers around our country. So if every consumer out there, and of course a small business owner is also a consumer. So if every small business owner and every consumer out there, no matter where you're from, if you can go out there every day and support at least one or two of your local small businesses, the impact and the byproduct of that impact is absolutely massive. And that's really what I call meaningful nation building, just to repeat once again. So guys out there, to Absa, thank you. To you out there, small businesses, hang in there. We're going to continually through the rest of this year and for the rest of time, make sure that we elevate the small business community. We get the consumers to come into your doors, go onto your website so that they can do business with you. So that's the importance behind the movement and what it's all about, Leanne.
Yes, Mike, it's really about a mindset change, making people conscious about where they're spending their money, who they are supporting in their communities, and the difference that their support can make. So as small business owners, encourage your customers, encourage your family, your friends to start thinking differently and support small business. Mike, I know before I was aware of this, I would just go to the easiest place I could find, whereas now I make concerted effort to go and support my local butcher or the dairy down the road. And it's a wonderful experience too, because they get to know you, you get to meet the owners. It's a very personal thing, as opposed to just the impersonal convenience, so I love it.
Absolutely. The things what people are just Andrea Henderson, she says my pain point is signing new business. Well, I'll tell you what, Andrew, we're going to come to some exciting stuff just now to help you alleviate that problem, because it's a massive problem out there. Sales and marketing, access to funding. We're going to talk about that in a few moments. And you can see all the comments coming through. It's always related around sales, cash flow, funding, marketing. So please hang on with us for a few moments. But again, a small business, sometimes, when I get in my car and I go support my local small businesses and I see sometimes I might be paying a little bit more. But when you walk into that mom and pop store, the passion is there. Everything is about their small business. I might pay a little bit more, but the customer satisfaction and the satisfaction I get, then making sure that by supporting their small businesses, what we are doing, we're putting money on dinner tables. We're allowing their children to go to school. So for me, paying that little bit extra, not always paying extra, but also getting that accelerated smash your customers' expectation that comes from them. So I find it extremely rewarding, no matter what the cost is, to go into a small business, to support a small business. And I'll continue that for the rest of time. Barley cash flow is always a challenge. I'm going to touch on that in a few moments.
Right. So, Mike, now we understand the power of small business, the effect it has on our communities. We're going to look at what businesses need to do to actually get ahead. And at the NSBC, we annually have a research initiative that allows us to understand the pain points that you've already been mentioning in the chat and what is needed for SMEs to prosper. Mike, would you tell us more about the National Small Business Survey?
Well, yeah, it's the biggest survey of its kind. And very importantly, when the NSBC was born just on 15 years ago, at that point, there was very little findings. There was very little understanding on what the needs are for small business owners for their business. So the National Small Business Survey was founded as an NSBC initiative 15 years ago. And as you know, we do this on the go all the time. And the intention here and the purpose is to understand the needs, the challenges, the wants. So the NSBC can create initiatives, platforms, content sites, events around these pain points so that we can allow our SMEs to be able to utilize this and grow bigger and more successful businesses. And that's real purpose of the National Small Business Survey, is to really deliver on what small businesses out there want us to deliver so that they can prosper in their business, employ more, and of course, help their families get along with life and have a quality of life.
Wonderful. So we'd like to invite all of you attending today. If you have any comments or you would like to tell us your answer, we'd love to hear from you. Mike, let's dive straight in. Can you tell us, what did the findings reveal regarding the biggest success for small business owners? What are small business owners saying their biggest successes come from?
So, Leanne, I'm going to revert some notes. I've just been handed these notes. We've just released the findings in the last few hours of the National Small Business Survey. Hugely interesting for me and hugely exciting. And I know that it's going to be very insightful for you out there. So first of all, let me get to the right point here. The biggest successful business owners coming out. Number one is partnering with the right people. Now, we do know, I often do a talk on soar with the eagles that fly high, mixed with positive, like-minded, similar people who encourage you on your journey to succeed. But also partnering with the right people is imperative. And a lot of mistakes can go around this. But importantly, the big success here for coming out of the survey is the number one success is they've partnered with the right people. Second one is coming out as good sales. Now, sales is always at the top somewhere. So good sales means that if you have an abundance of sales, cash will flow. And if cash flows, you can fix anything. HR, technology, marketing. And of course, in that way, if we've got the sales, an abundance of sales, of course, cash will flow. And that's the imperative link between cash flow and sales. And then finally, the third biggest success, which is an important one, is not borrowing money. I always say, and most people do out there, borrow money for the right reason. Don't borrow money for the wrong reason. So make sure when you borrow money, it's really for the right reason to help you grow your business as opposed to making a mistake. So that's the biggest success for business owners coming out of the survey, Leanne.
Okay, Mike. Now, the next question is always a very interesting one and uses the business owner's imagination to a degree. If a business owner received 100,000 Rand in cash, what would they spend it on? So let's see what the findings say there.
It's an interesting question, and it's kind of nice to see the psychology behind business owners here. And again, coming at the top is more marketing and advertising. Now, in the next couple of minutes, you'll see coming out of this sales, cash flow, marketing, funding. It just dominates in every area. But if a business owner got 100,000 Rand cash right now, they would invest that into more marketing and advertising. Then number two, what they would do, they would hire a consultant to help them to grow their business. And number three, they would purchase new office equipment and computers to ensure that they get ahead with the right technology. So that's quite interesting, those 3 points. And what's interesting about point number two here, it's the first time I've seen hire a consultant to help them grow their business. Not a bad point, but an interesting one coming out. Back to you, Leanne.
Excuse me, Mike. What are the most important areas where assistance is required?
Well, here again, the number one of the most important areas where assistance is needed for business owners running SMEs, sales and marketing at the top. Number two is business and strategic planning. And number three, whoopsie, we've lost Leanne for a second, but I'm going to continue. Number three is competition from large businesses. Now, what's important about competition from large businesses at point number three, it shouldn't necessarily be an obstacle or where assistance is required. But where assistance is required here, what's very important is that any small business right now can compete with a large business. Why? It's because create yourself a professional online presence. Make sure you got your dedicated domain intact. Make sure that your website, your Facebook, your LinkedIn, your Instagram is professionally designed, and imperatively make sure that you exude that professional image out there. We cannot run a business on a Yahoo or a Gmail account. So if you really want to compete with larger businesses, what one needs to do is to create a professional online presence. So very importantly, what's important about an online presence is that it's cost effective. It's very inexpensive to have a professional online presence. So very importantly, if you need assistance for that, you can contact the NSBC, info@nsbc.africa, and we can put you in the right direction, very importantly. So those are the three most important areas. But coming back to the, you're back, Leanne, I'm just talking on if you don't mind me. I just wanted to bring one other point here. So Leanne, what I've been talking about now is the most important areas where assistance is required. And I mentioned sales and marketing, number 2, business and strategic planning, and number 3, competition from large businesses. But as you know, is that creating an online presence and an online platform and an online sales mechanism, you can compete with any business. But just before I go back to Leanne, I just want to bring in the other one, is the biggest obstacle holding SMEs back from growing. Now, remember when I said to you, poor sales, but the biggest obstacle is lack of growth funding, and cash flow number 2 is poor sales. So there again, it's just enhancing our discussion, and we're zeroing in on poor sales, lack of funding, poor cash flow, and of course, we're going to work towards the solution towards that. So Leanne, that's where I am at the moment. And then, what I can do is let's move on to the one where the number 1 area where the NSBC and its partners can assist and help SMEs to succeed. Now, this is no surprise to anyone, I can assure you. Number 1, access to finance. Number 2, sales and marketing. Number 3, training and development, but training and development specifically around financial management, marketing, sales. So it all links. The importance of sales, cash flow, and funding, then the training and development is all revolved around those 3 kind of areas. But this is an interesting one as well, Leanne, is that, when we used to conduct these surveys about 14 or 15 years ago, the most needed finance was startup funding. And we don't see that anymore because I think most business owners realize that it's almost, if not impossible, to get startup funding unless it comes from family and friends who prepare to put that money into your business. But the most needed finance is number 1, working capital, number 2, growth finance, and number 3, equipment finance. So as we can see now, the trend is leaning towards growing a business, and that's good funding. For example, you've got a small printing business and the printing machine is broken, but you've got a great business, but you need a new printing machine quickly and you haven't budgeted for it. That's good funding. It's good funding and it's necessary funding. So this is where we've got to come to it again. We've got to make sure that we borrow for the right reason. And just an interesting stat coming out, we know that SMEs out there, the big transformation and the big digital transformation, where would SMEs start now? And, with cloud solutions, number 1 is sales. Now look at this, Leanne, number 1 is sales and number 3 is finance. Now I would have thought that would be the other way around. So number 1 is sales, automation. Number 2 is operations, interesting. And number 3 is finance. And of course, and what is so important is to have systems in place, technology in place, online solutions. When it comes to funding, which I'll come to in a few moments, and if you want to borrow money, whether it's working capital or equipment funding, you've got to have a proper, sophisticated, simple accounting system. And the ideal would be an online cloud accounting system that can spit out the numbers all day, every day. If you don't know the numbers in your business, you're not going to get anywhere. You're not going to be able to solidify your foundation, and you're not going to be able to get anywhere. So for those of you out there who don't have a good online accounting system, contact the NSBC. Our partners can assist you here. It'll make a massive difference to yourself and running your business, of course. Now, here's an interesting one, Leanne. You're going to smile at this one. What digital platforms are SMEs using to promote their businesses? Now, interesting, Facebook comes up first. Nothing wrong with it, but it comes up first. Second is LinkedIn, and third is Google Ads. But what we do see the trend here, we do in time feel, and looking at the trend, that LinkedIn will become the number 1. I know for big business it's number 1, But SMEs is bigger business, and it's leaning towards number one, but it's just interesting stat coming out. And just coming to IT again, the key factors when considering buying any IT product or service. Now, this is interesting because, historically, the IT historically, it's been very challenging because it's been very complex. And the IT companies now who are providing IT solutions are doing their best to try and simplify IT solutions. Because we have business owners aren't necessarily all IT savvy. Like, we're not all funding savvy, we're not all sales savvy, like it is in IT. We're not all. But the number one, if an IT company can provide a demonstrated benefit on that solution, it's the number one. Second, and this I would have thought would be at the top, ease of use. Take away the complexities. I always say, if you can show me an IT solution that's got amazing benefits for my business and it's easy to adopt, I'm happy with that. And then again, of course, if it's cost effective. But that's not the most important. That's the third most important. But if you can combine one and two, demonstrated benefit with ease of use, then cost is not that important, but it is still quite important. And just some other key factors. What's interesting here, Leanne, is that we're running the Financially Fit campaign powered by Experian, a massively important campaign. And only 62% of business owners know their own credit scores and their business credit scores. But just about very few know their business credit scores, and only 62% know their credit scores. Now, for goodness me, if you think about it, most business owners only check their credit scores when they're about to apply for funding. It's too late, because if there's something wrong in your credit score, in your credit report, you can't fix it then. It's too late. You need time to fix it. But what's nice to know is that your credit report belongs to you. You are in control of your own credit score. And the likes of Experian and others, in tandem with the NSBC, we can help you fix your credit score quickly if you need that service. Because then, if you're on the go all the time, if 3 or 4, 5 times a year, you check your own credit score and you pick up something that's not right, or it's wrong, or it's affecting your credit score, it can be fixed quite quickly. And most business owners don't know that. So make a habit of checking your own credit score and your business credit score, because the time will come. And it's not only about funding, it's also about getting favorable credit terms. So if you want to get favorable credit terms, or if you want to borrow money, just make sure that you've got a permanent, healthy credit score. And if you don't, fix it. And even if it's good, get better with it. Learn what you need to do to get better with it. And that's really important. Now here's an interesting one. 79% of SMEs have taken their business online. Now, let me give you something interesting here. Prior to pandemic, that was 13%. Now, this is what the pandemic has done. Something's positive come out of the pandemic. Get your business online. Like we said earlier, have a world-class professional online presence. At the same time, get your business online. And then you can compete with large businesses. Now, another interesting stat. 65% of SMEs don't use automated accounting software. Goodness me. It's the most important decision that you could take for your business. And it's not about the money. This is highly cost effective to get an online accounting platform. Again, the NSBC can assist you to get that right. This is going to give you the numbers that you need. I know that every day when I wake up throughout the day, I need to know the numbers in our own organization all day, every day. Who owes us money, who you owe money to, your cash flow forecast for the next 6 months, 1 year, and 2 years. Know the numbers, because if you know the numbers and you've got a great accounting system and you've combined that with online presence and these kind of factors, you're going to get ahead in life. You cannot build a castle if you don't build your foundation. And these are some of the biggest areas that are not being attended to by business owners running SMEs. Well, here's another one. I'm sure all of you out there have got a few people on your staff. Some have got many, some have got a few. It doesn't matter whether you've got 1 or 100. Here again, this is important. 84% of SMEs don't use an automated payroll software. Now, here again, that's absolutely crazy. Please, I'm not being disrespectful. I'm talking to all of us. It's crazy because at the end of the day, again, highly cost effective and extremely important to run a professional online payroll system. Again, the NSBC can assist you here. There's no agenda for the NSBC. It's not where we make money. It's not how we make money. We're a non-profit. We're here to put you in the right direction to get you those solutions in place. And 60% believe accounting software is important. That's got to go up to 99 or 100%. And, if you look at my discussion with you this morning, all these key factors coming out, it's what's going to make you build a bigger and more successful business much quicker. Then a last few key points here. Now, this is exciting for me. I mean, I haven't seen this in 15 years. 82% of SMEs expect their revenue to increase by between 10 and 30% over the next year. Now, what's interesting about that, most of that percentage, of which is 78%, say it will grow between 20 and 30% over the next year. That's the positivity we're living right now. That gives you the atmosphere of what's happening out here. People are wanting to get ahead, and people are getting ahead. Sure, there's still many who are not prospering because of the pandemic and tourism and hospitality, but we're working with those people to bring them back. These are job creators who need a break, and of course, it's not because of them that things went south. It's because something out of our control. Then, just something of interest. Did you know that 80% of business owners don't use fleet tracking as they don't understand the need? Now, that's got to change quite dramatically. What we do know about fleet tracking is the safety of your team. Because of those who have taken fleet tracking, will say that's the number one reason why they've done that. And to me, if that's the only need, then that's the decision to do that. Again, very important to make sure that you've got fleet tracking, especially in today's time globally. The hijackings are on the rise. These kind of negativities are on the rise. So fleet tracking is going to put some alleviation to that. So here again, it's an important area. Even if your business is just you and your family, make sure that you guys are well protected. It's hugely important for such a tiny cost. Now, this is interesting. Oh, I didn't know this was possible. 75% would find it of value if their tracking system could provide a Wi-Fi hotspot. And this is what our tracking partners are about to do. So if you want a hotspot in your car for communication purposes, then, of course, I know some of you may have that already, but of course, it's certainly an interesting one. Then finally, cybersecurity and safety is the number one IT challenge. And at the same time, the number one IT need out there. In my discussions with our big technology partners, with the likes of Microsoft, you know that most of the ransom right now is in small business, not big business. 89% of ransoms demanded are within the SME sector globally right now. Why? Because it's easier to attack a small business environment than it is to attack a corporate. Guys, this is hugely important. Make sure that you've got cybersecurity in all your techno systems. It's kind of an absolute priority right now. What happens if you lose all your information, all your stuff is hacked, and all your technology is down? Some of the big companies can last out that for a couple of years. Many SMEs can't last that out for much time. So if you haven't taken care of your cybersecurity, then now is the time to really earmark that, because it's hugely important to do that. So to our attendees out there, this is a bit of insight, take some food for thought in it, pick up the key points there that, let's summarize that in a nutshell, Leanne. Let's take it out. Sales, cash flow, funding, marketing, training and development. These are the big needs right now for business owners running SMEs. And that's what we're going to attend to. So based on these recent findings, we're going to tailor what we're doing in the road ahead and tweak that and deliver on that as we promise our SMEs out there. So Leanne, back to you. I'm not sure how we've got any more key questions for me, but I've been talking a lot. My apologies for that.
No problem at all, Mike. The findings are incredibly interesting. And like you say, sales and marketing, cash flow, funding, these are the really hot topics. And as Mike said earlier, at the NSBC, the survey is so important to us so that we can bring you what you need to succeed. So next week, we're launching our 2023 season of the Business Show Africa. And Mike, give us some insights into this, the importance for SMEs, especially around marketing, sales, funding. Where's the big event going to be held, and what opportunities will be available for SMEs?
Then before I answer it, I just want to answer Tebogo's question there. He says, Mike and Leanne, I'd like to your opinion regarding usage of virtual assistant for small businesses. It is of value. There's a few things one's got to look at. If that can professionalize your business, if you have a shortfall there, and a virtual assistant can take care of that need to help you within a professional approach, and it's cost effective, there's nothing wrong with that. Virtual assistant strategy now is massive globally. So Tebogo, do your homework. If it's the right virtual assistant, it's cost effective, and they give you the services that you need. I've heard some great stories out there. Okay, coming to your question, Leanne, the Business Show Africa, past 2 years, 2.5 years, it's been, of course, online. It's been very successful. Well, in fact, we had no choice because we couldn't do a physical event of that nature. But, the Business Show Africa has traditionally been the biggest event in Africa for anyone who's serious about wanting to build a bigger and more successful business. So next week is launch season, the road to the Business Show Africa 2023. It's back for its 15th physical year. But of interest, Leanne, it's actually started 30 years ago next year. I started the first one, the Biz Expo at the Kgalaletso Exhibition Center in September 1993. So it's exactly 30 years ago next September. And of course, 15 years ago, the name was changed to the Business Show, and it's been ever since. So it's going to be massive. And coming to everybody out there and looking at the findings, what's the number one need? Let's look at it. How do I market my business? How do I get more sales and turn those sales into cash flow so I can grow a big and successful business? Well, the right physical events that allows you to display your exhibit, your business, engage with thousands of business owners, all right? Network with thousands of other business owners, network and engage with leading business decision makers, attend world-class seminars, masterclasses, which of course is Build a Business Live. It's all happening on the 6th and 7th of September next year, but the road begins next week. It's high impact, and traditionally we've got over 25,000 delegates to attend. This year we brought it to Sandton Convention Center. Why? It's because of the hotel facilities, the transport facilities. We needed to do that, but it's going to be an epic event. And the website is in its, the official website will be launched on Friday. There is a holding page there at the moment. There's the address, bizshow.africa. The main website launches on the 1st of December. But guys, there's great exhibitor opportunities that are highly sponsored for our SMEs. So if you want to meet face-to-face with thousands of business decision makers, then the Business Show Africa is the place to be. If exhibiting is not for you, then the delegate registration will open in the new year. It won't open yet. And then, of course, you can attend as a delegate, visit all the exhibits, attend all the workshops, the masterclasses, the seminars for a world-famous experience. It's the entrepreneurial event of the year. It's a 2-day extravaganza, and it's all about you out there being able to get hundreds of top quality leads as an exhibitor so you can boost your business to greater heights. So follow us next week. Follow the Business Show. It's an amazing event if you haven't been before. But if there's something of interest to you, if you'd like to see what it takes to put your business on display and engage with thousands of decision makers, it'll be great to have you there. So guys, from that side, we look forward to it. The 2023 road starts next week, and it's going to continually be driven throughout this year and next year until we reach the finale on the 6th and 7th of September 2023. So I'm really excited. That's where my passion lies, special events. I know our whole team loves special events. We've hosted some of the most successful SME and entrepreneurial events in the world. And we're going to continue to do that because right now, the physical world has come back. But what's really important is that we're going to continue with our digital events, whether it's Breakfast Connect, whether it's Webinar Wednesday, whether it's Sales in Daba. But we're also going to bring in, of course, all our physical events, our big physical events in tandem with our digital events. So, Leon, I think I've said enough. But to all of you out there, thank you for joining us. I've enjoyed it as well, although I haven't had the opportunity to personally engage with you, but we will do that next year.
Absolutely. And Mike, thank you so much. So many insights fitted into such a small amount of time. Small business owners out there, remember to keep fighting, to keep pushing, and to keep growing. With the right mindset and the right attitude, no matter what has happened in your business, as Mike would always say, you never surrender. You can change direction, but never surrender. And yes, we look forward to the business show. It is one of our absolute favorite events to network. And like we said, to exhibit your business. If you want more information on that, Mike, who should they contact?
Go to the businessshow.africa and then just push in the button, exhibit. I want to exhibit, and then click on that, put your details in there, and someone will get hold of you and will, of course, provide you the information that you need. The Biz Show with a Z, the businessshow.africa. Take a look, and of course, our team will engage with you. So from me to you, thank you for being part of this morning. Without you, we can't do what we do. We're truly grateful for attending. Stay close to us. We've got some exciting things coming up. And for those of you out there who are entering, who have entered the South African Small Business Awards, next Friday is closure of entries. It's an incredible opportunity to get recognized, not only in South Africa, but through the world. So if you partially have entered and you haven't completed your entry, now's the time to do that. It's also not too late to put your entry in. Go to Small Biz Awards with a Z, smallbizawards.coza, and please enter. It's really, and what's also important about the Small Biz Awards, for all those who have entered and won in the past 15 odd years, those who have won have never thought when they entered that they could have won it. So don't think you can't win it. It's up for grabs. You've all got great businesses. Get recognized. It's one of the most powerful ways you can boost your presence, your entrepreneurial capabilities, and get your business out there. So guys, almost 1 week to go. Please don't lose this opportunity. It's an amazing one.
Yeah. And then lastly from me, remember this Friday, Small Business Friday, and every Friday hereafter, encourage your friends and your family to go out and support small businesses like yours. And we will see a huge difference in the sales that come into your business and in the nation in general. So that's it from me. Mike, from you as well.
Stay strong, build your business, get excited, be positive, be resilient. There's no other choice that we have. You're amazing people, you're job creators, and this country needs you. So keep moving and never give up, because in that case, you will arrive at where you want to be. Thank you very much.
Thank you, everyone, and we will see you soon.
Small. What does it mean? Ask a dictionary and you'll get a size that is less than normal or usual. Or worse, insignificant, unimportant. Here's what we think at Absa. Small means community, your neighbor. It means that cup of coffee that you buy from the cafe on your way to work. The suit in the shop window that you promise you'll get one day. It's the family restaurant that you run into to grab lunch or dinner. The haircut you get together with free advice. It's Marilo's Bakery. Because when you look at the big picture, small is huge. And it's why we back small businesses. Play your part and shop local every #Absa Small Biz Friday. And be the me in SME. Let's grow Mzansi kaofela. Visit absa.co.za to find out how #Absa Small Biz Friday benefits us all. We do more so small businesses can thrive. That's Africanacity.